person's contract has ended and he's either he's a free agent, he'll either go somewhere else, someone will buy him, or he won't have a club.
Yeah.
But as far as ongoing contracts are concerned, excuse me, I do believe that the clubs must have some contractual ability to say, yeah, sorry, you are contracted to do this. In other words, somewhere in that initial contract they've signed,
Yeah.
amongst everything else, it will be if we were to qualify for such and such a competition, i.e., the World Club Championship, you will
Yeah.
be required to come to wherever it's going to be in
Yeah.
America. So I don't believe it's a matter of saying to the players, well, would you like to come along, fellas? And no, I think they are committed. And it's a bit like, I mean, for a long time, players have not liked having to train on Christmas Day, which in the Premier League,
Yeah.
they've had to for years. And if indeed that's one of the things that players who come here from Europe or South America, they say, God, we never had games over Christmas and we had time off with our families, which you
Yeah.
can understand them wanting that like everybody else does. But in England, I think or in Britain, I don't know about the Scots, whether they do the same,
Yeah.
but it's always been there's a Boxing Day game, so you've got to train on Christmas morning, with all that means. And I suppose, although I can see a player's point of view, if you are actually in the Premier League in one of the top clubs, then I think with the money they earn and with the fact they don't work a full day, a full 8-hour day or something, they come in
Yeah.
for a couple of hours training, maybe a bit more sometimes, and that's probably no more than 4 days a week. They have plenty of time off to sort of counter the argument of someone who says, oh, that's our holiday time. The only thing I would say is that a season for a regular player is a grueling season. It goes over
Yeah.
9 months or whatever. And football, whether people accept it or not, is a physically very, very tough game. Like all of
Yeah.
the top sportsmen in different sports, it's quite incredible. Most people could not really play Premier League football, however good they think they are. It's too tough a game physically, and you've obviously got to have a certain mental attitude to it, like any sport as well. So
Yeah.
at the end of a long season, you can understand them having 2 or 3 months off just to get their bodies back together and all the rest of it.
Mm.
But obviously, the World Club Championship, there's money involved, which clearly benefits the clubs. They're going to want to have that. So they wouldn't leave it to chance that half the team might say, well, no, I don't want to go. They are contracted to do these things. So although I can see why players want their break, and I can see why it's needed,
Yeah.
sometimes you've got to go where you're told to go with the benefits of their contracts and the amount of money they earn. I wonder if you said to them, well, look, okay, we know you don't want to go on this World Club, midsummer trip. But okay, I tell you what, you go and get an ordinary job. But we'll work 5, 6 days a week, 7, 8 hours. And what are they going to say? You well know what. And I think most footballers take it like that. That they are
Yeah.
very blessed. They have charmed lives. It's tough. It is tough. You've got to maintain that fitness and that eating regime, all the fitness,
Yeah.
the exercise, everything. It's a tough life. Like any sportsman, like a tennis player, like a rower, for example, whatever. It's tough, but you get the rewards, but you've also got to pay your dues as well. So I don't think they've got an argument if they are asked to go out to one of those things. As to what you were saying about Europe rather than America,
Yeah.
yes, in a way you could say Europe is kind of the international hub of world football. Maybe
Right.
it's not, because if you think of South America, it's always been a hotbed of football, association
Right.
football.
Right.
But then nowadays, so is North America, America itself, the US. Maybe
Right.
it's not, because if you think of South America, it's always been a hotbed of football, association
Right.
football.
Well,
But then nowadays, so is North America, America itself. The US is very football mad. I mean, you hear things like the soccer mums who take their kids to the soccer games and things like that. It's a big deal now in the US. So in one way, in terms of numbers of people playing and the size of that continent, North and South America, they could well argue that they could become a bit of a hub for football, for soccer as well. I
yeah.
actually think it's quite good because we do have the Euros, and I think it's good. If I was a footballer, I would appreciate the experience of also going over to America, North or South, to play football in a competition. I think the more you learn about the game you play for a living, the better. So I think it's a positive thing for most players.
All right. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point that you've made. Now, I know you did mention about Manchester City being knocked out by Al Hilal or Hilal, whatever, however they pronounce it. No disrespect to
Al
the
Hilal, isn't it? Al
Al,
Hilal.
Al Hilal,
Yeah.
yeah. No disrespect to them, but just on the back of that, because then that's been covered. But just on the back of that, there was Cristiano Ronaldo saying that Al Hilal, and I think it's on the back of that actually, that Al Hilal is now top 5 in the world of football, so they're now in the world of club football, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Saudi, just saying that Saudi Arabian clubs are now gaining that much recognition. They are in the top 5 of world recognized football around the world, or recognized football club. Do you share that sentiment?
No, I mean, if Ronaldo says it, then presumably, excuse me, presumably there's something in that. And clearly
Right.
they're coming on strong if they can beat Manchester City like that. That's very
Yeah.
true. And of course, Ronaldo has just signed this new contract, hasn't he? Did you see that? He's in Saudi, isn't he?
Yeah,
And
it is.
it's something. It's something like 230 million
Wow.
a month. It's ridiculous, but it's something like that. If I'm way off beam, I apologise, but I don't believe I am. I was
Wow.
only querying whether it was 230 million a week, but
Yeah.
that cannot be. I think he's on about 230 million a month, and it's 2 or 3 year contracts, I believe. So quite incredible and he's obviously